Hey y'all, this is BG Codes and I am bradgarropy. Welcome to this morning's stream. It's finally warming up here in Texas. It's like 45 this morning, which I think is actually really nice. And then it'll be like 75 this afternoon. I was like in hermit mode for like the past 2 weeks. It was so cold, and normally it doesn't bother me, but it has lately. And so I would just like wear beanies in the house all day. Last night we had a super productive stream. In 20 minutes, I had create and view notes done, from making the data model to building the routes to building the actions and loaders and protecting that user data. And then I also wrote the test, which took like another hour. I had a bunch of people join. It was really fun. This morning, we're going to continue and round out the CRUD functionality. So we got create, we got read, now we need update and delete. We're going to do those two this morning. And then we're going to work on like properly, well, we'll do a little cleanup after that, and then we'll do like proper end-to-end testing of this app because we don't have it yet. We just have a bunch of unit testing. Okay, enough talking. Let's get to the code. Sip of coffee. That was my first that you just saw. And I've been breaking a lot of coffee mugs lately. My favorite Vercel mug is gone. I broke it, the handle broke off. But Lee Robb is coming on the podcast soon. Maybe I can ask him for a replacement. Okay. Let's see, is everything up and running? The app is running. Whoa, why is a test failing? Let's try again. There we go. And the database is running. Yo, Mark is back on. Good morning. Highs in the 30s. Where are you coming from, Mark? That's pretty dang cold. Somewhere up north, obviously. I used to live in New York, and that's why like the cold didn't used to bother me. And I still like the cold. It's just I feel like I need to wear a whole lot more clothes now. But I enjoy the cold weather. And then S. Perlu, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Hookem, heck yeah. I went to UT, saw a lot of football games. It was a good time. Thanks for joining this morning, y'all. Okay, update. Update is probably the next thing we need to do. Oh, I never know how to do this. In a sense of, okay. Clearly, we want to be able to click on this note and go to that page. Yeah, let's just do that. Okay. What I was going to say is, like, do we want one page to display the note and all of its details? And then, like, another specific page to update it? No, we'll just do one page. Outside of Boston. Yeah. It'll be cold up there. Okay, so we're going to make a new route. Let's go to our routes file first. And then we're going to go to notes ID. And I'm going to just call this ooh. I've always been a fan of just calling this like note/ID and note/new. And so let's do that. This means we're going to have to change some names here. This is going to be note new, and let's just make this new note. I know that sounds crazy. Okay. And then I think some of our routes are wrong now. So redirect to notes is good. No, then I think we're fine. And see, this is why you need type safe routing. I gotta get over to the React router version of this. routes, notes, right? Because we never created that. So in our routes folder, we'll go new, we'll go note.tsx, and it's going to look a lot like new note. It's going to have an action, it's going to have a loader, and then this is going to have a new function. Note equals await get note with an ID. And we need to make this. So in our notes helper, we've got get notes and we've got get note. And then I think we're good. Yes, you're exactly right, Mark. They added this in React Router. Unfortunately, I'm still on Remix because Sentry doesn't support React Router in the new framework mode. I'm holding out on Remix until Sentry supports that. What do I do on pages that like need things? We'll go to our route definition. Reset one does this. Reset. Throw error. Okay. We'll just say like note not found. Otherwise, params.id. Couldn't find name get node. We haven't imported it yet. Hey, good morning, David. Thanks for joining. Oh, and of course, the ID for a note is actually a number. So we're going to say, again, Zod will help with all of this. And so this will be a number params.id. And now we can just use that. Oh. That was a dumb mistake. Where ID, and I think you can just do that, right? What's the problem? Get note params is not assignable to type number. Oh, that's why, because I wrapped it in an object. How do I handle doing this in other files? Yeah, just do it in line. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so we should be getting our note back. Note is declared but not used. Okay, yeah. So now we're going to bring this in. And now we should be able to say const note is use loader data. Or null. So same thing. We need another check here. No. If we want to be really sure, because this get note will get a note for anybody, any user. So I think we need both. The note ID and the user ID. Which now we need to back out all the changes we just did. And there, now we're going to say, find a unique node where the user ID matches and the ID matches, right? That way, only that user can get his or her notes. Just like in get notes, we get everything that matches the user ID. This makes sense to me. Okay, cool. Again, Zod will take care of a lot of this validation stuff. We're going to have to do a lot of that. Now we've got the note. And we'll put an error boundary in if this note's not defined, right? And now we're just going to say... David's asking, do I think Sentry will take a while to support it? Well, I mean, yeah, think about it. React Router 7 just came out. Just. Like a month or two ago, right? Sentry says you can do it yourself with the existing APIs that they offer in their SDK. I just don't want to jump the gun. Like lately, I've been doing too many migrations that like kind of half work, and I don't want it. ESLint was one of the big ones. React hook lint rules like weren't updated forever. And I was just waiting on that. So I don't want to get into this until I know Sentry's supporting it. And maybe I'm putting the cart before the horse, but I don't want to lose out on my error monitoring just to get a new framework that does 95% the same thing. I've realized to be cautious with that stuff. Okay, so we've got the note. We're going to render this note. And the text area, yeah, it is required. Class content. We do need, like, yes, a default value. Perfect. So this should render the page with the form. Let me rebuild the app. I know I was renaming a bunch of files. Okay, cool. So we've got our notes. Oh, and now those notes need to link to something. And so instead of an LI, man, at this point, I just make it. Okay, we'll do the thing. How do you guys use ULs and LIs? Because I find myself being like, why do I need to make this like a list? It is, sure, but like I just sometimes just put a bunch of, let's say, links or whatever and put margin under them. So I don't understand semantically UL and LI sometimes. I feel like it is a little bit useless. Yeah, for sure, David. React Router 7 is going to give the middleware, the types, all the good stuff that I was really wanting in Remix. That'll be where the future happens. And so 100%, I'm going there. The question is just when. Where are we linking to? We are linking to note / the ID. Yeah, you know what's funny though, David? I actually feel like sometimes I like seeing the loader and seeing the action in a route. It's nice to be like, this is what you can do here. Why did my lights turn off? Turn on the office. I think it was my wife's fault. She yells sorry from the other room when I mentioned it. Yeah, sometimes I like having the loader and the action here. The biggest tip I have though is make sure they're thin. Like the only thing they should be doing is receiving the request, possibly parsing it a little bit, and then sending it off to some kind of handler. That shouldn't be like a big, thick, like model or controller layer there. But yeah, I do see how React Router defines their routes. Everything's kind of an object. Everything goes there. It's kind of nice. Oh, you mean in your component? I think I might be misunderstanding you then. And then Mark is asking about TanStack. I tried TanStack. It felt kind of beta-y, and I'm pretty bought into the Remix ecosystem. And I like the folks who work on the team, and you know, there's nothing wrong with Tanner either. I just kind of have picked my camp. You know what I mean? Oh, it gets passed in. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. And not a hook version. That's pretty neat. Okay, and now these all need to have hover stuff. And again, this is not supposed to be the best app in the world. Oh, they're so big. What's giving it the block? Is it the LI? Display list item. Oh, because I put the hover on the list item. Cool. And then it's pre-populated. You're good to go. Okay, and then we can update these things. So we'll go back to our actions. On this page. We should still have the ID in the parameter. If you're already bought into React Query, my bet is that it's going to get better with TanStack Start. My only caution is make sure that you can get the support and your questions answered in a timely manner with TanStack Start. Like, go find your edge cases and see if it handles it, and make sure the Discord has the right answers. You know, because The worst thing is like you hit some bump and you're like, damn it, nobody's done this before, and you feel so alone, and it's not good. Okay, now we need an update note function. Great. I'm just gonna let Copilot do this and then I'll fix it. That was nice. This is going to be update note params, and it's going to take, don't get me wrong, most of the same things, right? So we've got the ID, the user ID. Again, make sure that only that user can update their note, and the content, but I don't know if I want that to be content. Am I doing a dot update anywhere else? There. Data, password, hash password. That's only updating the password though. If the note ever has more information, this is fine for now. But in the future, this will probably be like a partial. I'll probably use the Prisma types to get more like Prisma dot note update input. Yeah. That's kind of what I want instead. And then this is like updates, like everything you want to put in there. Yeah, just remember, I think start gives you all the server things that you're going to need. So you're probably going to need those server things right at the beginning, whether it's SSR, incremental static, regenerate, whatever all the rendering modes are. And so because of that, spread updates into there. Whoops. Yeah, see, this is the way to do it. I was going to say, because of that, you got to make sure that it fits your architecture with just the router from the start. And I'm going to be honest, I don't have a ton of experience with just the router, but I'm pretty sure it's client side first. And I don't know what server side features just the router offers. So yeah, now update note, you can update anything, which is great. Sometimes I think I want to, instead of content, I almost want to be like note, create, input. What is that? Content created. Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to do this. It doesn't like that. Yeah, I don't know. I'll get there. For now, let's do this. The simple version. We need the note ID, the user ID. Oh, dude, Mark, okay, that's the exact perfect use case for TanStack Start. A bunch of client-side stuff. TanStack Start kind of goes client-side first. The router was built for client-side. You know, Tanner is a big fan of client-side first. and that's like what all of his apps are, like Nozzle and stuff. And so yeah, you are picking the right framework for the job. That's a good idea. Very good idea. And then query is going to save your butt, because everything's going to be on the client side. Okay. I think this is everything we need. I'm getting not distracted talking. I'm enjoying talking. But yeah, lots going on in the chat this morning. Hey, okay. Have a great meeting, Mark. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, so we'll go to the first note and we'll update it to first note edited. Boink. Yeah, perfect. Okay, it works. It redirected. No complaints. Everything's good. I think we could start writing some tests. Making some commits. So add new notes routes. Oh, no, I can't commit yet. I'm on the main branch. Okay, now we can. Now what do we got here? Okay, so we renamed a route. We'll say rename new note route. And then we got add link to single note. To be honest, I don't love this. Every time I look at these like ULLIs, all I think to myself is I could just combine these. So let's do it. And the only thing I need to do is change these to block. Sorry, inline block. Oh, and make them grid. Yeah, now I see. And instead of margin bottom, we'll just use the grid gap. So now when I hover over these, yeah. Then we'll just say content start. I always forget this one. especially in Tailwind. We don't want aligned content, we want justified content. Start. We want justify items. Start. That's what we want. Is that better, wrapping it in a div? I don't know. Arguable. Is inline block the play here? No, we don't even need that. They're inline. That's fine. Okay. Okay, yeah, now we can commit that. Add link to single note. Whoops, same commit. That's fine. And then add note page. Let's test out some of the failure cases. That's fine. Note 1. Okay. Let's sign in as somebody else. I need new seed data. So let's sign in as we need a Marge. Yeah, this is cool. I like this because then you've got named, like, personified users, and then you still have a list of users. We need to mess with that. Okay, navigation. Sure hope my tests are still working. That's a pretty good refactor right there. It all worked. All right, we're missing some coverage on notes. We'll get there. Holy shit, that was a lot. So where is this? Users. Everything is part of that. And now I'll update the seed to actually create all of our users. So we'll do the same thing here. And if you're asking, Brad, how come you're not using create money? When I was making notes, I needed them to be delayed by a couple milliseconds so that I could sort them. And in this case, it was running too fast. So I'm going to do the same for users, but it's just as fast. So let's run this seed. Restart Prisma. We should have 2 users, Homer and Marge. Yep. I should be able to sign in with Marge. Uh-huh. And she has no notes. I can... Damn it. I need type safe routing, dude. Now we can say Marge's first note. Uh-huh. And she can only see hers. If I sign out and sign in as Homer. Good. He's got his... Uh-huh. Now, if I'm Homer and I try to go to one of Marge's notes, which is number 4. Note not found. Good. He can't update Marge's note. Okay, so seed all mock users, and then correct new note route. So that was making a new note. Oh, there's a couple more tests we have to write. Let's just like make a PR so I can see the differences. Can't just like open this in this tab. Okay, so this should all be fine. So the mocks. Notes server. Right. Where we added get note and update note. That's what we need to test. Okay, so we're just adjusting this to take in the new, what do we got? ID mock notes 0 dot ID. So to take in the new stuff, here's get note. Test, we good? Okay. There's not really any edge cases here. And we're gonna do an update note. Takes in a couple things. It's got what? The ID, which is mock note 0.ID, the user ID, oh, let's just say call this mock node. The same thing. You create a node, and then you update a node. So get the mock node. And just test that that content is different. Which, again, you can't really test for because it's not hitting the database. It's so nice. We've got SQLite. We could be doing this. Okay, I mean, I just feel like you have to take it on faith, or else we gotta find a way to run SQLite and not mock any of the DB calls for tests. That would be cool. We'll investigate that. Investigate not mocking SQLite. Not mocking Prisma during unit tests because SQLite. Yeah, I know, David, they seem pointless, but I'm in a really good place because I'm using a SQLite database, which means this is it. It's a file on my system. So we could run unmocked DB tests in CI, no problem. And then I can actually make sure things happen. But I'm also like, what am I testing? Am I testing Prisma at this point? Am I testing SQLite, or am I testing my code? Now, it's important, like, you should test your queries, like this needs to be ordered by a certain way. This needs to be limited to this user. So you can write better tests. But the problem now becomes, if you don't mock Prisma and run against SQLite, where's the problem? Now I'm like thinking out loud. Why didn't I do this in the beginning? Oh, now you have to reseed your database in between every single unit test. And this is fine for this app. But imagine as it gets bigger. and you've got multiple tables and multiple things feeding into that, and all of a sudden seeding your database between every unit test because you need to like go back to like a standard state, it becomes pretty problematic. I'm with you. It's hard to get your head around, are these effective tests? Am I testing the right thing? And how much pain do I want to go through, and time, pure setup time, to seed the database between every test and things like that. I haven't fully approached that problem yet, but we'll get there, right? Yes, absolutely. He's saying that mocking Prisma is just like leaking all the implementation into the test. He's right. Like this test, I'll tell you what, this test tests nothing. I told it to return mock note. It's supposed to be updating it, but it doesn't because I mocked it. And I mean, okay, to make it better, I can say mock note, change the content, but again, you're just feeding it exactly what to return. That's just because my wrappers are thin. Update note is very, very small. Bigger apps will have more business logic in here, and then these tests become more valuable. So I think it does seem like a little silly right now, but it'll get to a point where it'll be worth it. And I'm just trying to, because this is kind of like a starter, I'm trying to set the baseline that I can move forward with. I've also swung back and forth on, do I even need these small helper methods? Because as they get beefier, you think about where to put the logic, and it's all just like a where it feels best kind of thing. No, and I don't think you're trying to call me out. I appreciate the thought process and the conversation, and you're giving me a platform to like talk about how I think about these things. All right, so now at least we got some tests in. We'll judge the effectiveness of them in the future as we scale. Add, what is it? Yeah, for sure. I'm glad you were saying that because I think about that kind of stuff all the time. Okay, so those tests are in, and then I think there was something else I didn't test. So we're not testing routes yet. That'll happen in end-to-end test. I used to end-to-end test, or sorry, I used to unit test routes. It's so difficult. You have to mock your actions and your loaders, and just you're better off testing route functionality as a user. Okay, did I actually change anything in auth? No. No. Okay, so I wrote all the tests I need to write. We are now done with the update feature. Pushing that. Let's also do the release stuff. So I release a lot, especially in early times in these projects. So I'm going to bump the version and update the change log. I need a better way to do this, but I can't get myself to commit to conventional commits. So I'm doing it manually. And hey, if Adam Wathan can do manual release notes and change logs for Tailwind, I can do it for my project. Okay, what did we do? Really, we added create and update, or added update functionality. Add update note feature. Yeah. We'll commit this as bump version. And did we do everything in the changelog? 10 and then added the link. I can't see because it's all on 2 lines. Yeah. Okay, so now if everything passes, we're good. Just making sure the checks are running, and then we'll walk through all the files and we can push this knowing that update is done. Yeah, they're going. David, you know, I'll get your opinion on something while we're here, if you're still around. My GitHub actions, I have 2. One is style and one is test. And they each do multiple things. And I'm debating. So style runs the many steps or tasks. I can never remember the naming here. And in this job, there is a lint and a format task. But then in my testing one, I run both unit test and end-to-end tests. And I always debate between, like, do you run one job with multiple things in it, even if you parallelize them, or do you run multiple jobs? Does that make sense? Like, I never know the pros and cons of this. So here's test. It just has many steps. And, you know, it's like install the stuff, run my end-to-end, do code coverage, whatever. So I never knew the best way to split these up. And I kind of have been thinking lately that everything should run as its own job, because when something fails, now back in my pull request, you can just see, instead of being like, oh, style failed. Oh, okay, did lint or format fail? I would know exactly what failed. And it seems weird that the job itself has a name, test, but then you define, no, it's a workflow. I'm so confused with this naming. It's a workflow that has many jobs, and this one's name is test. And so the workflow name is test, and I'm like, well, job name is also test. I don't know, I'm very confused about this whole thing. I have an action item to like clean that up. All right, reviewing everything here. Changelog is good. Bump the version. Seeding all users. Good point. I suppose when they're all in one workflow or whatever, a failure can stop others. But I don't, in this case, I want everything to run. I don't care if anything fails. I want to see all the results. Because if multiple things fail, I can just look at CI and say, these are the things I need to address. And I think as I was reading, that's what it was saying. It was basically like, if one thing affects another thing, whether it's the artifacts it produce or its pass fail status, put it in the same workflow. Okay, that's just using the new user. That's using the new mock user. Yeah, I'm going Simpsons theme, obviously, for my mock users. Just think they're easily identifiable. What's this? My notes test. We talked about that. Okay. We're getting a note based on the ID and user ID. Another server test, adding the 2 new routes. Renaming that. Note requires a user to look at. Yeah, I see what you mean, David. That could be a good point. But hey, if it's all free, might as well get as much information as you can from your test suite. Not like I'm paying for GitHub Actions. Really need Zod to start validating some of this stuff. Or just get the type safety from React Router and or Remix. I was supposed to be listening to like lo-fi. What was it? Trumpet music coming in. Yeah, and like this I need type safety so bad. You could have broken links all over your website because you changed a route. Again, updating to the Homer user. Same here. Same here. Okay, that's everything. We're merging. Evenings, guys. 8:45 in the morning for me. Imagine. All right, let's merge and release. And I'll probably start on delete. And I got like 15 minutes before I got to get to work. Maybe I can do it now. Let's release 0.0.10. Okay. Now that this is merged, I can use my alias getBD, which gets all my remote branches that have been deleted, which happens after merge, and deletes them locally and then switches back to main. And so now I'm all reset for the next feature, which would be delete. So let's start in the notes helpers with a delete note. Very similar again. That should be it, right? Just delete it where it matches the user ID and the ID so that you can only delete your notes. And that's that. Let's just go ahead and do the test, which again, not the best. Homer's ID is 1. Does this fail if I do 2? Probably not, right? Because yeah. It doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of think it might be nice to run these tests against the DB. SQLite's so cool. I haven't decided if I'm going SQLite or Postgres, but SQLite's so cool. And I could host it on Cloudflare or Terso. It works locally really easily. It works well with testing. Like, a lot of upside to SQLite. Okay, all the tests are done. 100% coverage again. And so now we just need to figure out where we want to put this delete button. App is running. Who are we signed in as? Homer. Haven't found a good way to remote connect. I would have figured, like, if you're using Prisma or something, the database viewer could do it. Or if you're using a hosted solution like Terso, they probably have like a DB viewer as well. But Prisma is mostly what I use for like just database management like this. But yeah, I haven't looked into the hosting piece yet because I got to do a whole cost analysis on all that stuff. I've literally thought about hosting websites from a Raspberry Pi on my desk, putting the database on there. That would be like super cool. You just like use like a sticky note and be like, this is bradgarropy.com. This is, you know, whatever.com. And like they're just sitting on your desk. Okay. Oh, that's a good point. You don't want to expose Prisma in production. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's credentialed, right? So if they could reach it via the Prisma Studio, they could reach it any other way. Where do I want to put this delete note button? I want to do them like here on the list? Or do I want to do it like here on the note? Whoops, that says new note. Maybe I'll just put the button right here. I'll kind of make it look like this new note button. And you take the MB8 off there and change that to what? An MB2. Now, here's the only problem. This is another thing in Remix I don't have an opinion on yet. Is this a button to like a different API route for delete? Or is this an action on the exact same page? You know what I mean? And it triggers the same page and it just special cases the action. And so that means it's actually wrapped in a form. It can't be a delete, right? It doesn't work. Yeah, I've been doing it in the same action as well. Let's just make sure. Get our app logs up. Hit delete. Wow, it triggered. Huh. Interesting. Let's log the request. Do we see, like... I guess we want to log request method. Yo, that's cool. And so are you telling me if I press this, we're getting post? Okay. I like that. I don't know hidden inputs to tell the action what to do. We can just case on the request method. That's sick. Regardless, we need user, we need params. I like the pattern, right? You're validating what you need to first. We need the params ID. And then this is where we stop, right here. Yeah, I don't love that in like intent value stuff. I think it's kind of nice to just use the method until you start overloading methods, and then you've got a problem. Oh, the button itself can have a name. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna use the methods until it becomes a problem. No, did you see that? All actions are not a post. When I clicked the button, form method delete, it goes through as a delete. Check it. Oh shit. Action delete. That is the method. That's what I thought too, but I just confirmed otherwise, it looks like. So then in this case, we just need to do await delete note. And then we can return redirect to notes. Which I don't even really need that. Oh shit. Yeah, we kind of screwed that up. First note. Okay. Let's delete the first note. It's gone. Oh, it's null. Hey man. Thank you for stopping by. Been great. I'm with you. I got a roll as well. I just want to get this delete working first. And it looks like the request method is in caps. Stupid. And so now we'll try this again. We'll make a new note. We'll go there. We'll delete it. And it shows up as null. Why null? Makes the content null. Delete node. What are you doing? Something's up. Let's restart the app. I don't know what's going on. And we'll see the database. It's setting it to null. We've got a user. Because I was too uppercasing it like an idiot. Yeah, that's why. It wasn't matching. And can I still edit? So we'll do no. Third note. We'll go to third note. We'll say edited. Great. Great. And again, if I want to do a note that's not his, like note 4. No, isn't there a note that belongs to Marge? No. So let's sign out. We'll go to Marge. Marge has no notes, but what if I go to note number 1? Yeah, she can't do it. Default, let's just unknown action. It's Marge's first note. We can delete it. Cool. Really cool stuff. Is that it for delete? I think so. Now we can just do, 9:05. We got to wrap this up. Then update the change log. Not gonna lie, those AI commits look a lot like mine. Ah. Then we will get this pushed and roll on out of here. What did I need in the last one? Update note. Yeah, so delete note. Let's make this. And review these. Okay. Fix the change log, bump the version to 11. Added a new delete note test. Yep, added the delete note helper. We check the method. If it's post, do the update. If it's delete, do the delete. And added that button. It's great. That's it. This means just updating a to-do list on Discord that I manage with some friends. Rushing this week, not gonna lie. Finish the tests and let's get out of here. End to end is taking forever. Let me end the stream real quick so I can say goodbye. Y'all, it's been real. I'm gonna get this merged and we've been crushing it. I'm gonna see y'all in the next one. Peace.